Hello, I'm Margaret Frayne, President of the California Rare Fruit Growers. We're here at the Huntington Library, Art Collections, and Botanical Gardens with an announcement of special interest to members of the CRFG. With us today, representing the Huntington, are Jim Folson, who's the Garden Director, Kathy Musial, the Curator of Living Collections, and Scott Kleinrock, the Project Manager. Also with us is CRFG member Glenn Woodmansey, who many members know for his presentations on the Feijoa and on grafting and air layering. Over the past 10 years, Glenn has traveled from San Diego to Ukiah, collecting heirloom Feijoa varieties that are no longer commercially available. He also made 3 trips to New Zealand in search of Feijoa varieties. California nurseries have attempted to import New Zealand varieties before, but without much success, since the plants have to pass rigorous inspection both in that country and when they get to Los Angeles. Then after getting past the inspections, the plants have to be resuscitated because they have to make that long trip with no soil near their roots. On Glenn's first trip, all 50 of his plants failed to make it. But on his next 2 trips, he was more successful. Many good varieties of Feijoa have been lost over the years, but now an important collection is being started here at the Huntington. I'd like to introduce Glenn Woodmansey to tell you more.
Thank you, Margaret. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Jim, Kathy, and Scott. We're on these very grounds. 103 years ago, an agricultural journal reported that Henry Huntington had the largest Feijoa orchard in the country. Over the years, those trees disappeared, and we don't even know today what varieties that he was experimenting with. Since the Feijoa is a little hard to reproduce clonally, it's been a challenge to keep track of the best flavored ones. Now the Huntington has offered to solve this problem. A new orchard will be planted, preserving the best commercial varieties currently known. The plant may even be included in the new cryogenic program to preserve germplasm. I'm very happy today to be able to donate an additional 16 excellent commercial varieties, which will join those that we've already assembled. This makes the Huntington's collection of past and present commercial varieties, approaching 50, already the largest in the world. This monograph details the sources of those plants. I know that all this would be very pleasing to Henry Huntington, the early pioneer, who saw great potential in the development of this delicious fruiting plant, and that this permanent reference will be of great value to future scientists and breeders. Congratulations.
These will be planted out as a single collection so that they can be grown, cared for, compared, as a block and as a collection.
How are the ones that we assembled last year?
They're doing well. They've been potted up. They're still in 15-gallon containers. They've been pruned and root pruned and repotted once to keep them in prime condition until we're able to get the site together with proper irrigation and soil work to give them their best chance and off to a good start. There's some good tasting fruit that we're already getting off of them, even their small size.
Look at that lickfurs. Oh my gosh, an R heart that big? That's bigger than any we have now.
Yeah.
Oh, this was one of the original tags. It got buried in the replant.
Yeah, phenomenal. It looks very healthy.
They cut that one off and it's sending up new shoots. Wow. That is definitely the biggest Punamu in the United States.
Absolutely.
The Apollo is really nice and
Yeah, good sized trunk.
thick. Nicely shaped.
Jim wants to put them all on this hillside. Aside from the living plants, we now have ways that we can preserve these things through laboratory methods, basically tissue culture and cryopreservation, which is preserving of tissue in liquid nitrogen. We have a specialist on staff now who's been working with cryopreservation of a number of plant groups. Some of it's experimental, and some of it she's using existing protocols. And so I thought this might be another good group that could be used in that program. So even if there's some calamity befalls the live plants, then we would have the tissue preserved in cryopreservation for future use to bring back the live plants.
That's great.
as part of that, the USDA maintains germplasm repositories around the country. The one in Fort Collins is, as I call it, the mothership. That's the main repository. They're mostly focused on food plants, and they have samples gathered from all over the world and from places in the U.S., and they keep these either as seed or as cryopreserved tissue samples. And again, it's the backup of the world's germplasm. So they're mostly focusing on food plants. You know, we've talked about sending ornamental plants to them, but because Feijoa would be considered a food plant, I thought, well, this would be another crop that the USDA might be interested in, and likely doesn't have anywhere in their germplasm system right now. I will investigate that.